disorder. And she was diagnosed around age 30, you said?
38.
38. Before that, when she was 9 years old, she was in a swimming pool, and they, infused the chlorine gas into the swimming pool while she was in it. It wasn't supposed to happen, obviously. Next time go swimming in a sea salt. So they didn't have it. Anyway, and so she had this, she was on a respirator for, that day, or more.
Into the night, so from like around before lunch.
And then she had measles after, she's had measles before then, and she had a second bout of measles. She was this height when she was 9 years old, and she never grew afterwards. And she's had issues with gaining weight. She says she's 30 pounds overweight, so she's apparently very thin. But she's had a number of episodes where she would gain weight, and then she said acupuncture would help, would be what would help her. And tell us about your common symptoms. Does that capture your medical history?
Yeah. So it's just not the weight gain. I also have typical thyroid. My hair falls out. I'm really, really tired. I have trouble concentrating and remembering things. And so they're starting to come back. And my weight is always a signal that my thyroid's not well, even though 30 pounds is heavier than I've normally been, but I'm older. So I took that into consideration.
So mostly it's the fatigue, memory loss, and hair loss.
And I have weird things like skin problems where my hands will peel. It's hard to use an iPhone when your hands are peeling. And just weird little things that many of them are Hashimoto symptoms and some are not. And I saw specialists on chemicals and the autoimmune, and she told me I would probably get diabetes, and it's quite possible I could get MS or lupus.
Okay, that's lovely.
So I stopped eating sugar, so.
Are you diabetic?
No, I could not tolerate the medication. It was like being on LSD, and I had narcolepsy, so I could only be awake for 8 hours.
They try to give you thyroid.
I took all the kinds. They kept trying different ones. And Madame Wu, an acupuncturist who's pretty well known in San Francisco, worked with me to get him off the drugs in a safe manner.
Any other questions?
How old are you?
I'm 60. A healthy lifestyle really makes a difference. That's all I have to say.
All right. Any injury to your left foot?
No, but I have flat feet.
But your left foot is way flatter. Do you have an injury to the knee or the hip on the left side?
I've never broken a bone outside of toes.
Okay.
I've broken both big toes, both little toes, and these 2 toes right there. Dancing.
Okay.
And dropping a TV on.
Oh, that helps.
TVs used to be big.
Yeah, tell me about that.
Oh, and then I got hit by a van.
Oh.
And it was turning left and there was a light, and because I danced, did this really fancy move where I jumped off the van and landed on my feet. So he goes, "You look fine," and sped off. And I was on my way to my chiropractor, and she said, "You should have gotten it. Your ribs are messed up." So I worked with her on that. And then recently when I started bending over, it feels like something pops out, an organ. And it's very, very painful, and I shove it back in because it hurts. And if I can get it up in there, it'll last for a month or so. But lately it's been popping out. And I had an MRI.
What is popping up?
I don't know, something right in here.
On the right side.
And it feels like a hot dog organ. And it pops up, and I push it back in.
Have you ever come to see someone?
Yes, and they said, "No, I can't get it out on purpose." And
No, but once it goes out, instead of like trying to push it in, have you ever gone to it?
Well, I can't help it. It hurts so much. It hurts so much that the next thing I know, I'm shoving it back in there. And I've tried not to, but because I can't drive or I can't.
Yeah. Okay.
And it's
Most people wouldn't dare. It's like, most people are not. They're just like, okay, 911.
Well, I'm in a dance class and I want to finish it, so I'm bent over, I stand up, and I'm like,
and then it feels fine after you shove it back in?
no, it
Just
hurts
like,
for a while. it's kind of sore. And so when I get treatments from Daniel, sometimes it's really sore and sometimes if it's stayed in there for a while, it doesn't hurt.
Is there a movement that causes it?
Well, yeah, I try to do it in the office.
No, don't try to, I'm just asking, what is the movement?
I bend over and touch my toes towards the right or left side. It used to be both sides, now it's predominantly right side. It's a dance.
So you're bending over.
And then go to feet further apart.
Like this?
Yes.
Okay, gotcha, yes.
And once it came out when I was driving and I went like this to see behind me and it popped right out.
Yeah. It's the stretching of the diaphragm, I think, that causes it. And it may actually not be an organ, it may be that the diaphragm is collapsing. Because you said it feels like a sausage?
It feels like something's poking out. And they can't see it on that MRI. They just say, come when it pops out.
But that's not what happened. All right.
It's like, how am I going to get there?
All right. Ambulance. Face up.
So the boring has also messed up my gut, so I've got issues.
Oh, what kind of gut issues?
Well, I have Hashimoto's, I have constipation, also have gas, and I am sensitive to foods.
And what? Sensitive to foods?
Foods.
Okay.
And I develop new ones.
New sensitivities. Okay. All right. That's a tattoo.
Oh, no, that's from going to the problem.
Oh, okay. I just want to make sure it wasn't a bruise. That's all.
I think the bruise is here.
Oh, there is a bruise. Yes, there is a bruise, but only one. Okay, that's fine. Yeah, it's a hard pulse to find. At least my side. This is not a typical stomach G pulse, but there is something about this pulse that I don't know if you would agree. It's hard to find, and it's like there's something that's the only description that comes to me. I told you, I think that pulses, you should just feel them and whatever, there's no 21 pulses, there's whatever you think. For me, the description that comes to me is there's something that's incomplete about the pulse. You touch it and you feel like, I've got to be missing something here. Like, yeah, go ahead. So there's, I don't know, you guys may have totally different, you may have different imagery or something, and you may even disagree with this altogether. There is just something like that. It's almost like it's short, but it's beyond, the incompleteness is that it's like, it comes and it comes like, it doesn't fully come at you. So stomach chi pulse is like, it doesn't have a quality of movement forward. It's lacking the slippery value of the pulse. This is not a lack of stomach chi, the typical lack, but that's why I was spread. So, okay, you feeling? Okay, you feeling some? Whatever you're feeling, doesn't matter. Don't worry. I'm not one of those clinicians at school. Is there a change? You don't care what I do. You care about your fingers.
Yeah, it got full under my finger.
Yeah. So, would you agree?
It's like, yeah.
Because, I mean, it did for
in
me.
the first position, it got full.
Yeah, because it did for me.
One
So.
was big on when I felt it, on that, the lung pulse.
Mhm.
It seems bigger than the rest of the pulses.
So it's just an interesting, because I was like, well, there's something really odd about her pulse, and I don't know what it is. But that's the only, my only description of it is.
So did you actually push on a pointer where you just...
Oh, I was pushing on stomach chi. It's not a stomach chi typical, if this was like, if I could say, oh, this is what stomach chi pulse looks like, it isn't, or feels like, I didn't have that. It wasn't able to.
But it did wake up her pulse when you did that. Though.
Yeah, so there's something very clearly about this line. You have to understand, the stomach line here this is the sea of charm. Okay, like the lower head points of the small intestine, lower head point of the large intestine. These are called, in the 4 C's, these are the points that represent the sea of charm.
So did you just find above and you just press on it?
Yeah, press downwards and towards the bone. I can't say about this side, but do you agree with that description? I mean, tell me what you guys feel. I don't want to impose on you one.
Like it almost seems like it's sleeping or it's like dormant or something.
Yeah. Anybody else has an opinion?
I kind of felt like it was like going under a bridge at one point that comes out and just kind of levels off. And
Yeah.
I don't know.
But if it's going under the bridge, there's a part of it that's missing.
That's right.
I mean, that's what
Instead of being like this way, it's like
Yeah, I like that. Like it's
water,
like and very, very soft.
Yeah, it is quite good. Yeah. But it's also hard to tell that quality, it's hard to say it's a soft pulse because it's just, the important thing is it's weak.
Yeah, it took a long time to
Because
find
soft is a weak pulse, but it has a certain width. In order to be soft, it has to be wide.
it. Oh, yeah.
Because if it's narrow, it can't be soft.
That's true.
It has to have some width in order for the cottony feeling to happen.
I think that there's a difference there between the right and the left.
There is? Okay. Yeah, I haven't taken. And by the way, I never take both sides.
I was going to ask you all on the
I
side.
only take the pulse on the left.
Because you're already standing there. Because you're already standing there.
Yeah, it's kind of not, and because I'm not that good at it, and because it's not like I'm going to get, I don't believe I'm going to get you an incredible amount of information, so I just have never developed the habit of feeling it both sides. And if you ask me, when she said to me the lung pulse, I had to say, which side? Oh, it's on that side, okay. I don't think in those terms anymore.
So are you concerned mostly then with the
With a general, no, I'm concerned I'm taking it on the left side, which means I'm officially taking the kidney, liver, and heart. I believe. So the point is, I'm concerned with the general quality of the pulse. I don't have the tools to determine different positions, and I'm concerned with the general energy of the person. That's why for me, this idea that I understand that each side is different. I get that, and I felt it, but. Then what does it mean about the general quality of the person if each side is different? So I'm just committed to one side and making my decisions from that side. That could be wrong.
Now, with an AMS type pulse, like if you feel that in one system but not in all.
You mean 1 out of 3?
Yeah, and does that mean like a maybe?
I don't know. I mean, I don't recall that happening. I would say that probably indicates AMS. That would be my sense of it. If you feel it just with one finger, that's good enough for me. I mean, I don't have I can't relate to a particular experience of mine. All right. So now that everybody's taking your pulse.
I can feel what it did to me. When you touched down there, stuff happened in here.
Oh, okay, cool. All right. So, when I press here, you just feel my fingers, is that correct?
I do.
Or do you feel something more,
Oh, I feel more.
discomfort?
It makes me feel like I have to pee.
Okay,
And
this makes you feel like you have to pee. Okay, how about here?
That's just fingers.
Okay, that's just fingers. Okay, so that's our baseline. We ideally, everywhere I poke is going to feel like this. If it feels different, you just tell me. Okay, it doesn't have to be pain. It's just different. I need to know. Okay, so anything here, Oketsa?
It's a little bit uncomfortable, but barely.
Okay, barely. Okay. In a moment, we'll judge if it's worth noting or not. Because if you have nothing else, then barely is going to be the thing we work with. If you have lots of other things, then we're tossing barely away. Okay. Here.
That's more.
More, okay. So digestion lung is. How about?
It's uncomfortable and I have to pee.
Uncomfortable
Weird.
and you have to pee. Okay. And how about this one?
That one's uncomfortable.
Uncomfortable. So adrenal, and I believe she's going to have Ren9 pulse because I could feel it in kidney 16.
And that's uncomfortable.
That's uncomfortable, Ren9. Do you feel the pulsing when I press?
Yes.
Okay. 12.
12.
That's not as uncomfortable, but still
Still so.
uncomfortable.
15.
It's
You
neither
smile.
uncomfortable or baseline. It's one of those feels so good. Hurts.
Feel so good, okay. Not so comfortable, definitely not
Yes.
comfortable, feel so good, not happy, and not so happy either.
That one's
Now,
that one's not quite as uncomfortable as those other ones.
okay. Don't compare them to each other.
Okay.
Each point is its own thing. Okay. And in a second, I'll give them names. Compare for me the left. Now, do compare. Left and right. Sorry, just told them. Oops, definitely
Yeah,
something.
yeah.
You're jumping.
That's
okay.
my area.
Okay. So forget the thing that pops out on you. Just with my fingers, you don't like this, right? Okay. So remember, we're going to call that liver. We're going to call that, we'll call that feel so good. That's good. Okay. Stomach, renine, that's the big one. Adrenal left and adrenal right.
And the right hurts more than the left.
Okay. And something digestion.
And that's starting to compare to the others.
Is like
Feel-
not a
yeah,
huge
yeah.
deal. Okay, fine. And, sorry, I'm just going to open that. Okay, it's not that. Anything here? Stomach
a little bit
A little bit.
uncomfortable.
And how about this one?
That's a little more
That's a little
uncomfortable.
more. Okay, so, all right. I'm going to take the hair, lift up for a second, the hair away. Okay, that's good. Sorry. SCM 1, 2, 3.
And none of those are comfortable.
None of those are comfortable?
Yes.
Okay. And 1, 2, 3.
Only 3 is uncomfortable.
Only 3 is uncomfortable. Okay, now more kind of into the thyroid. 1, 2, 3.
And all of those are uncomfortable.
Okay, and this side, 1, 2, 3. Okay, specifically 2, that's
Yeah.
obvious, and 1 and 3?
3 was slightly uncomfortable and 1 was barely.
Okay, so okay, this is a clear one.
Yes.
Okay.
And then when you moved slightly away from it towards the 1, it still hurt, but that was not where you first touched me.
Okay, all right, but this is clear,
Yes.
and so is this one?
Yes.
Okay, all right. Any discomfort here?
My feet hurt all the time. Constantly.
The whole foot?
Yes, I've had plantar fasciitis 3 times.
Oh, that wasn't worth putting on your
Sorry.
medical history, was it? Okay,
Sorry, it's early for me. I was up late.
We won't ask what you were doing. She was trick-or-treating for kale. Kale or tricks?
It's a scary clown, scary.
Oh. So when I poke here, how is this guy now?
Oh, better.
How much?
Dramatically.
Dramatically, okay.
But that hurts where you're.
Yes, I understand. Hold on. How about this?
That's better.
Okay. And how is feel so good?
It still feels so good.
Okay, hasn't changed. Okay. And left adrenal. I know right one was worse, but the left one?
Feels better.
How much better?
Quite a bit.
Okay. And you had something here.
That's still.
Okay. That's still. Okay. Okay. I'm just checking the foot. Any pain when I press? 1, 2, 3.
It's that feels so good pain.
Okay. Let's do work with what feels so good. Okay. 1, 2, 3. Any change?
Yeah, now it just.
Doesn't feel so good.
Yeah.
Okay. But it doesn't feel bad. Okay. Fine.
Doesn't feel bad,
Okay. So it is. These noises outside. Okay. It's cute. All right. So this side, any discomfort here?
but no, not while you're touching now.
Okay. And feel so good?
Yeah.
Okay. You took away that. Damn, so unfair. All right. So you had adrenal right here, and you had this one.
That still hurts.
Okay. And you had one.
Okay, sorry.
No, 1, 2, 3. And then 1, 2, 3. Okay.
Okay. Feels really hurt.
Okay. Boom. How's this now?
Not bad.
Okay. That was 2. How is 1? How is 2? How is 3? 3 still.
2 still hits a little.
Oh, 2 still. Okay, hold on. Now? No.
Okay, it's gone.
Okay, good. More. Testing on that one. My target eventually is Ren 4, but before... Hi.
Doesn't hurt at all.
Okay.
That hurts.
Oh, okay. That does, okay. Sorry. How's now?
It doesn't hurt at all.
Okay. So I'm establishing my kidney and my Ren 4. I need to see if she says Mushu hurts, let me see if I can, in order to establish my lung point, how, if I can, you say this hurts. Okay. Now, because it's a fairly muscular area here, sometimes it's just muscle. But let me see if that's the case, or, maybe I can resolve it. How's this guy? It's okay. All right. All right, let's get her started, and then we'll see.
Does she have a slow pulse?
I don't think so, but I could be wrong. I was kind of like, I was so taken aback by the incompleteness. I was spending time under the bridge rather than on the speed. No, definitely not slow. No. If anything, it's almost on the right-hand side.
What?
Oh, sorry.
Why did lung 5 resolve the
This is one of those things that it's hard for people to accept, that I've already built the theory. She's autoimmune, and Hashimoto's is thyroid. So she's the kidney part we get, and the Ren 4, blah, blah. And remember, I need to do a lung point.
Right.
If I'm going to do something in the lungs, and it's the right thing for her, since Mushu is not a reflex, it's not like I say, oh, this represents yak. I will choose, if I know I want to choose a point on either a meridian or I need to find a lung 5. Let's say I'm committed to lung 5, but I need to find the exact location. Okay? Or I need to choose between pericardium 4 and pericardium 6. I will use it against any reflex in the body, totally irrelevant to the point. Because if it's the right point for the person, it will start changing everything else. Make sense?
Yeah.
So on that lung 5 could have changed any of her reflexes, right? That's what you're saying.
Exactly. I just didn't bother doing the check.
Right.
Okay. Here, right?
It feels so good. Uncomfortable?
Feels so good and comfortable. Okay. Before I was couching. Okay. House feels so good. Yeah. So yes, I mean, officially I should, but you know how it can drive a patient crazy if you take every point and compare it to everything.
Sure.
So you have to take sort of the middle ground between check it against what it's supposed to versus check it against everything. So the major points you check, against everything. The lung, remember, lung is a supporting. The water point is the main one to calm down the fire. The metal is supposed to help the water. So if I'm gonna torture the patient, how's this one and this one and this one and this one and this one? Do it with your major points. Your secondary points, it's kind of like, just make sure you chose them. Because the idea has been demonstrated clearly already. Does that make sense?
Yeah, for kidney salad because of the thyroid?
Yeah, I have to do a kidney, and then because I wanted to see, because especially this side, because this foot is so flat, I assumed that she's going to have pain on kidney too, but she said, no, I have plantar fasciitis in general, so that's why I checked it against, rather than just kidney 2, against, feel so good still? Okay.
The my feet don't hurt so much this morning, so it's for you to benefit, otherwise they just hurt.
Okay.
I was wondering about checking against kidney 9 too because of the liver.
I was going to, do kidney 9, but because kidney 7 was just so successful, I didn't. But yeah, that was another possibility. There's a possibility of should we do kidney 9, large intestine 15, which we can still do kidney 7, large intestine 15. It's not the end of the world.
Really? It's a detox too?
There are people who say kidney 7 is a detox point also.
Because isn't the oldest thing chlorine?
The oldest thing? No, definitely the chlorine. Yeah. So, but I can still. The thing is, okay. Let's do that. No, it's okay. Because of the feet, I decided on kidney 7. So, okay. You have here, right? And you have here. And the big one is here, right? Okay. How's the big one?
Better.
Okay, compare with this.
Can you go back to the other one?
Okay, number 1. Number 2.
They're the same.
They're the same. Okay.
The points themselves hurt.
Both of them hurt. So kind of not relevant so much. Okay. Now you have number 1 here. Okay, you have here without anything and here without anything. And I'm going to check them both again. Number 1 and the second point. And compare that with what this point does. Number 1 and run 9.
The second one makes it seem like nothing.
Easier.
You're just
Okay.
fingers.
Yeah. I somehow, yeah, I could have and should have checked kidney 9 a little bit more, but it's more because if she had plantar fasciitis is immune and kidney 7 for me. Okay, it's kidney 9 is not that great for plantar fasciitis. Are you okay?
Yeah.
Anything left?
A little bit of that first one.
This one?
Yeah.
Or this one?
First one.
This one. Okay. How's that? Better? Okay. And now? Okay.
It feels like fingers.
Okay. The problem is with better is that it has no quantity, and I need a quantification method. Anything left?
Just a little bit.
A little bit on the first one?
Yes.
Okay. Now?
Nothing. Fingers.
Fingers. This one's sort of okay now?
Yeah.
Okay, good. It's okay?
So you checked Mushu against lung 5.
Lung
Then-
5 against Mushu, rather.
And then when lung 5 worked, you also put a needle in Mushu.
Now I'm putting the needle in Mushu, now
So
that lung
first you
5 is
release
in.
it and then you put the.
Yes, exactly. Okay. So now I still have immune points to do. So let me just do that. So I'm finished with autoimmune and then recheck the whole body and see what's left. Okay, relax totally.
So why did you skip over the spleen 7?
Spleen, for the liver?
No, is it autoimmune? Didn't you get a
Spleen, no, if you're looking at spleen 7 and pericardium, you're probably looking at liver excess. Okay, so, autoimmune is kidney, lung, and red form.
Do you not take it?
Sorry?
Say below kidney 9 for autoimmune.
Any kidney for autoimmune. What do you mean below kidney 9?
That you said it several times in seminars. it was just the left kidney treatment, right?
No, that's a story I've never heard at least. No, it's any kidney point. No, the original dogma, the way I learned it was as follows. It's either kidney 6, let me just, you had two kidney points that you could do. It was something like either kidney 6 or 7, or 9 or 10. And it could have been both. In other words, you could have done 9 and 7, or 7 and 10, or 6 and 9. You could have done 2 points. That was it. And then on the lung, it was either lung 5 or lung 9. That was the original description of that protocol, if I remember correctly. So there were definitely multiple kidney point options. Being low kidney 9 for autoimmune does not ring a bell for me at all. Kidney 9, I use kidney 9 often for autoimmune, but I use just as often kidney 7. So let me just get this. Okay, so now that that's done, let's recheck abdomen. By the way, you had here, didn't you? Is that okay?
I still have to feel like I have to
It's
pee,
still-
but
okay.
I shouldn't.
No, you should.
I mean, I just went.
How is adrenal on the left? Okay, how much is left in it? How close are we to go?
It's like fingers.
Fingers, okay. Fingers you should feel. If you don't feel fingers, it's a bad thing. Okay, how about adrenal on the right?
Way better, it's fingers.
Fingers. How about Ren 9?
There's a slight bit of pain compared to the other two.
Okay, do you still feel your pulse when I'm pressing here?
Yes,
Okay, because it's much, much fainter.
Yeah.
How's Ren 12?
better.
Okay.
It feels like fingers.
How's feels so good?
It still feels so good.
Okay, that's fine. Don't worry. Okay, and you had here. How's that?
It's a slight pain.
It's a slight pain now.
Yes.
Okay, before it was more?
Yes.
Okay. So there's still something here, and something here, and something on Ren 9.
Yes.
Okay. I still have two things I want to look at. One is the stomach G and the other one is large intestine 15. How's Ren 9?
Better.
How's this one?
Better.
How's feels so good?
No, it feels like fingers.
Okay, good. Thankfully. I was afraid he will always feel good, and we can't have her feel good. Okay, now this is the wrong side for the liver, but it might, who knows, it might just do it.
Feels like fingers.
Okay, cool. But before I do that, I want to check large intestine 15. Okay, so I have two, if I was going to do it by the protocol, it should be the right side should affect it. I'm on purpose going to take it to the left because I want to see, it doesn't mean I won't use it if it doesn't work, but I just want to see if the left, how systemic is this business of toxicity? Because it may not be a toxicity issue, it may not have been the chlorine, it may have been that she wasn't able to breathe that created the problem. Like we get caught in the city, oh, it's a chemical. But and it may be, I'm not saying that it wasn't. So yeah, but since she shows liver, it should be right side, but I just want to say, I want to see, like, it's not that I won't use it if it doesn't work, it's just I want to know how elementary is large intestine 15. If it's really elementary, it fixes things no matter if they belong or don't belong. Okay? Since liver is on the right side, large intestine 15 on the left side, and the liver, they don't belong to each other. Okay. So you still had something here?
I have a little faint.
A little faint. And now?
No, fingers.
Okay, so, it tells me that it's more primary than just, okay, just treat the toxicity. It has it has a strong base for her. You know, some people, yes, you have to treat toxicity, but it's not like the most important thing for them. For her, it's the fact that it crosses sides says that yes, that's a really important one for you. You know, it's not like extra. Oh, we have to do stomach gym, that's it. Anything left?
Slight bit.
Slightly?
And now it's gone.
Is it still gone?
It's moved into that feels so good kind of pain.
Okay. No, don't worry. I will make sure you don't feel good.
It's my chiropractor's turn.
How is now?
Oh, no, it's that finger. She did it.
Stomach Chi is not your favorite point, that's for sure. Doesn't make you feel good. Okay. Are you comfortable? All right. Wait, oh, shoot. I thought I did stomach Chi on this side, and I didn't. So as you can see, patients do not die if you do stomach Chi on the right side first. It's, you know, you can get away with it.
So, do you have a story of where you're going to do the stomach Chi? I mean, if there's bumps all the way down.
I tend to start around stomach 40 and go down. Kiiko nowadays will start higher. But originally we were taught stomach Chi is between stomach 40 and 41. Kind of thing. So I tend to find them lower down. You will also tend to find more of them, you know, on the lower part. But you can find them higher, and you can do as many as 4 at the same time.
And you would use that many if you weren't.
If I wasn't getting as much as I want, yeah. If I felt I could get something else. Excuse me. So. And since there's definitely, for me, there's definitely a change in the pulse, I don't feel the incompleteness anymore. You know, I mean, I'm not saying the pulse is like the perfect pulse, but, you know, I don't know what a perfect pulse is.
Yeah, it's more slippery as opposed to a little bit wire like before.
So if other people want to take the pulse, go ahead. You can tell if you...
There's one like there's still underwater.
Hmm?
Still underwater?
Uh-huh.
Like in the shin hammer system, muffled?
Muffled is a nice term for it. I like that.
It's like there's multiple layers that you're feeling through.
Uh-huh. You know, if the acupuncture world was a little different, I would try and teach a class with somebody who does, you know, who teaches Shin pulse diagnosis and see how what we can accomplish together. You know, what we think of each other, and if we can, you know, bounce off each other. Is that okay? You might feel a little bit like mosquito bites or.
Is it Moxie?
That's Moxa, yeah.
And we're setting on fire many times.
Yeah, well, that's not the same kind of Moxa that she's using. Unfortunately.
The scars go away, so.
Oh, God. No, don't play hero with me, just tell me if it's
I
too
can
much.
feel it, but it's not too much.
Luckily, we won't be doing joint points. Oops, these are the points I'm supposed to take a feel so good pain away. Well, yeah, because I want it to be, yeah, because the problem is with feel so good, it's like you can't tell. You know, like, I mean, it depends on the person. Some people, the feel so good is actually pain, but they just like that pain. And then for some people, it actually feels good. I can't tell which it is. So I'm like, I'm just using it as something to test against. Thankfully, she did. If she said on stomach night feels so good, I'm in big trouble. Because I don't know, well, should I change it, should I not change it? But, you know, Brent 15, it's not, you know, this is not how many symptoms. I don't want, you know, I can use that as, I've already determined my points, I'm just trying to figure out if they're effective and can I move a point, or should I move a few millimeters or something like that? Because that's the other thing is, just because I'm saying kidney 7, it doesn't mean I know where the kidney 7 is going to be. The kidney 7 has to be the one that works for the person. So anybody has a comment on the pulse? Yeah? For the good? Does it feel so good?
It feels, it has more movement though. It does have more movement or dynamic.
See, I think that's stomach chi that does it. So even though I could not have said about that pulse that it's lack of stomach chi, I think, you know, that there's something that these points did regardless. So it gives you confidence that clearly this line of the stomach line clearly has an effect on the pulse. Any questions?
Are you just doing that until you are fair with it? Yeah.
You know, there's different ways to decide on that. If you really want to do it like by the book, they should feel 5 to 7.
Okay.
Do you really want to ask them how many? Did you feel this one? Did you feel this one? Did you feel this one?
But also with the bird breed, they don't really feel, I mean, it's not.
No, 5 to 7 with a bird cream.
Right, but I'm saying with the bird cream, they don't really, it doesn't really like get them.
Oh, they should be. Well, yeah, that's true.
I was like feeling a little bird. Okay. That wasn't like.
They should feel it too strong. Any feeling is a feeling.
And then it would be done, so that was.
As long as they're feeling something, it can be very mild. That's feeling. The other method you can do is the skin around it becoming kind of pink. You know, but on stomach chi generally you don't see it. You see it like on the back. You see that very clearly. You'll see it on the knee point. You'll see it. So there are places where the skin around it definitely gets a strong reaction, but on stomach chi generally you don't see it.
That's weird. That's weird because it's supposed to have the most chi in the blood, so you think that it would get.
It has the most chi and blood, but it's not contributing it to the moxa. I don't know. It has another rule apparently. So, you know, it's like we can start with a whole new. No, actually, it almost makes sense. I was going to say we could start a whole new trend. You know, Yang Ming has the most chi and blood, and it's the stingiest. Right? Like, how do we know? But no, but you know, it's like if something is more deficient, it doesn't hold it as well, so you're going to see it when you raise the chi in that area. Maybe that's why you're going to see it. But I think also just because it's too close to the bone.
There's not enough capacity for lymph to really flow through there easily. So, yeah.
How is it you determine how many of the stomach treatments you might needle? Maybe you would know that we've talked about this yesterday, I'm not sure.
Okay, a few ways you can do that. Number one is you press on the top line and they say serving lot better and you do a needle and then you, first of all, determine in advance how many there are. She has a few. You know, so if there's lots, you may say you want to do lots. Okay. The other thing is how important is stomach chi for this person. Now, in her case, it actually probably is more important than I'm giving it credit. You know, I got to it from the pulse. That's not good enough for me, because it should be. If I was a really good pulse person, then if I was somebody who relies on pulse primarily for diagnosis, that is the main thing I should be. I should be doing 4 of them. But because for me it's like, I thought there was something in the pulse, it's like, I'm not sure. So I'm like, okay, I'll do it. And I let go of my duty by doing 1. Because I'm looking at the autoimmune part of the treatment as the main part. Okay. I could be totally wrong, and it could actually be that stomach chi is the main part. So next time when she comes, according to what she says, I was like this week, and it felt like this, that, and the other. By the way, thyroid is a stomach channel. Therefore, stomach chi is still important for thyroid. Okay. So even though we say thyroid is kidney, we do still. There is something about spleen stomach with thyroid, nonetheless. Okay. So someone else who has like lots of bumps. And the stomach chi is like the thing that gets the most mileage in changing the abdomen. That's when I choose an orphan. Or certain symptoms. Okay? Neuropathy, for example, I would choose more stomach chi. I would not, if somebody has neuropathy, I would do 3 or 4 easily, right there. Let me just check how is wanting to pee. Still have to pee. Okay. And here?
That's a baseline.
Okay. And
oh, that's even more I have to pee. Yes,
you still have to pee.
which might be your kidney is working.
Yeah, no. I mean, maybe you really have to pee, and that's no. That's one of those things. It's hard to tell. If you have a full bladder, you have a full bladder. It's like there's no where I press. She's still going to have a full bladder, and it's going to feel that way. So, all right. Give me a few more minutes, and then we'll let you go pee. Okay? Before we do it. All right. Questions?
When you're checking the thyroid, and so when you do the SEM, you're doing behind the SEM, in the middle of the heads, and then in the front?
No. It's all in the front. It's all in the front. Behind the SMS, I'm just 16. It's all in the front. I'm going top, middle, bottom.
Okay.
Now, in my case, I have a longer neck. I can do even bottom. Okay. But it's the middle and the bottoms that are going to reflect the thyroid. The top, this part, never reflects the thyroid. But I'm not, see, the SCM itself comes forward, right? It goes from the mastoid to the sternocleidomastoid.
But you have 2 separate. You'll do the SCM and then the thyroid, and I never see the
Okay,
thyroid.
So I do the SCM, and then once I get to the middle, it can reflect thyroid and not just SCM. And then I kind of zoom into the thyroid part by stomach 9 a little bit behind.
Okay.
Then I'm zooming to find out,
Okay.
more about thyroid. If they don't have a history of thyroid, I don't do this thing. I just do this thing with the 3 fingers.
Okay.
If they have thyroid, yes, it shows on the SCM, but now I want to be more specific about stomach 9. I want to be kind of located more and get more findings.
And then if you feel at the bottom of the SCM, you'll try scalings?
No, the scalings are separate. No, the bottom of the SCM can also be, by the way, thyroid. But no, the scalings are totally a different story, and they don't relate to whether the bottom of the SCM is there.
Okay. So
They
you're
are
just
the entity on their own, the independent entity that really should be checked in everyone. But I
And
don't.
I've noticed that you're checking them when there's like anxiety or when you think it's it's like a cardiac,
Yes, because they're breathing muscles.
right?
They're going to show, the anxious person is going to show the scales. Okay, so it's going to be really important for them, sorry?
Anything other than that, any other reasons that you would check the scaling? It's like,
Yeah, a few of them, okay. People come with muscular pain, you check the scalings, okay? Because that's a place where spleen 3 is a good point for muscle pain. And this is where, it's, what we used to say is that this area is an area where you can actually touch. We sort of believe, which I don't think is really true, but that's our understanding, is that you're actually touching fascia here as opposed to muscle. And there's some truth to it, because you're not touching the belly of the muscle here. Like, I'm touching the belly of the muscle here. Here I'm touching something that is different in quality. Okay? So, and since spleen 3 you're trying to affect the fascia, this is a good place to check for spleen 3 when you're using spleen 3 for muscular pain, number 1. Number 2, yes, for any breathing problems or anxiety type problems, I check the scalings. The other one is, if they have arm, neck, and shoulder problems, because the brachioradial plexus supplies the trapezius, it supplies a lot of the blood supply to the arm. So anybody with carpal tunnel type or, perpetual strain injuries, elbow pain, whatever, anything to do with the arm or the shoulder, I have to check the scales. Those are 3 things that I check. Location of head, neck, shoulder, or arm, breathing problems or anxiety problems, and muscular. Okay.
okay, yeah. And so for muscular pain, you said that spleen 3 is like a possibility.
My big ones are spleen 3 and OD.
Okay.
And your confirmation for spleen 3, first make sure it does the scalings, then make sure that it does the muscle pain itself.
And then what about, this is a different question.
It's okay.
If anybody else has one. I'm noticing that you're saying that there are like these types, so there's like, they'll say like, oh, this is a cardiac presentation, or oh, this is an adrenal presentation. So there's been so far, I've gotten like little bits of those, but.
You want to know all the types?
Yeah, I want to know all the types and everything about all the types.
Of course, okay. So,
and I do have a book, but I don't know, I have Kiiko's 2 books, but I didn't.
I don't think they're really in there in a clear manner,
Okay.
as far as I remember.
That's fine because I haven't read them, but I'm just going to
So,
how many things.
time to read them. Now, if I was very Chinese, I would say, why you ask question before you can
Yeah, I
know. So,
Well, I noticed you said like, this is going to be different from the book so much that.
well, the problem is, okay, here's the problem. I'm not the best person to ask about the book because I don't follow the book, for one thing.
Right.
Also, so we had this discussion before. It's like we have the book and we don't read the book. Why? Because those of us who follow, who've been to Kiiko's classes many times and really follow it. Why would we read the book when we have the real thing in front of us? So I was with the real thing before the book ever came out. I was supposed to be editing the damn book, So it's kind of like it's not. I mean, it interests me to see that people write books, because I do this myself. When you write, it's a different style. It's different than actually being there.
Yeah.
You're not just hanging out when you're writing.
This is more specific. That's a good goal,
So,
right?
no, but the book, honestly, as far as I can tell, I'm not, because I didn't study from the book, I sort of look at it, and I'm actually mostly, I look at it when people point things out to me, and then I look at it. It's not because I disagree with the book, or I think the book is important, it's just that I got a different source for my knowledge didn't come. If I had started 10 or 15 years later when the books were there, my knowledge source would have been from the books, or at least partially from the books, but it wasn't available.
So these presentation types are not going to be in the books that are there?
They are, but they're not. Okay, we've never done. Let me try and answer your question.
Okay.
I think that in a sense, we've really never done that very clearly on these types.
But yeah, one of the things you want to do, in a sense, is put people in some sort of box, category, name them, treat that category, and if you're treating that category, if the box that you put them in, and the treatment for that box is successful, the box is the correct box, you did the correct catalog. Okay, so a lot of the system is very much like, maybe like AK in the chiropractic world. You name something, and you're hoping if you got the right type, everything gets better. So yeah, that is kind of what we're trying to do.
Yeah.
So how many types there are? Lots and lots and lots. And lots of different kinds of types. And that's where I think it's very difficult in the book to kind of explain that. So what kind of types there are? So let's start with, we talked about, for example, there's a spleen type and a liver type. Liver type is apple with two skinny legs. These are caricatures, these are exaggerations. Spleen type is, heavy in the hips and skinny from the waist up. I like to talk about the women who, you sit across from the table from them, and you're going, wow, she's Mrs. Twiggy, or whatever that model's name was in the 60s, teeny girl. And then this woman gets up and you go, oh my God, you're like enormous. They're twice the size you think they should be. That's like the caricature of the spleen type. Okay? So you have that. Then you can also say, then you have the types, for example, of diseases. Autoimmune. Type-wise, she's an autoimmune type. She's also a toxicity type because we didn't do kidney man, but we did Logitus in 15. So she's partially. That doesn't seem to be the strongest. So think about it as, if it's an archetype, it's a strong type, but if it's, then you have the diabetics. You have the thyroid types. Now, of course, many of these can overlap. You have the autonomic nervous system types. Okay, the ones with the SCM, the blood pressure discrepancy. And so again, within autonomic nervous system type, you have many subtypes of it. The ones where you see it because of the pulse. The one where you decided about it because of blood pressure issues. The ones you decided because they have the SCM. Different types. Every finding in the abdomen, when you have that finding, you're calling it a type. In other words, you have the adrenal type. Okay. That's a strong type. Okay. That tends to take precedence. It's a strong finding. Okay. You have the Renline pulse type, the Mushu. Okay, weak Dantian type. Okay. You have the cyst throwing type. They get lots of cysts. The liver, so you can call it cyst type, you can call it liver A type. What you try to do by putting in these boxes, I'll continue the types in a moment, the whole point of naming it, you can either name the type or you can name the treatment point. The whole point by typing them is not to put them in a box, but to find the best treatment point for them. So in a sense, rather than say it's a cyst type, we should really say it's a liver A type. Rather than say, well, when we say adrenal type, because adrenal is a treatment, it's kind of like, you should really say kidney 727 type, or kidney 627 type. Okay? So these are all types. In other words, the moment I decided on a needle, I decided on a type. Okay? So then you have the liver types. And within the liver types, you have the liver excess type, the liver deficient type. Is it liver 1 responding type? Is it kidney 7, spleen 7, heart 3, gallbladder 4 type? Is it fatty liver type? Right stomach 25, right liver 13 type. So every treatment that we've had, every protocol is a type. Are they a visceral ptosis type? Everything is falling down to the inguinal. They are stomach 13 type.
What is it?
Visceral ptosis, that everything's falling. Okay, like huge belly or huge breast, and everything's falling into the inguinal. Or they've had lots of pregnancies, and now they have to pee all the time, or they can't hold the urine. Everything's falling. Or they've had hysterectomy, and now everything's falling down, and they get back pain or something. Okay, so that's the visceral ptosis type.
You have the twist type. Everything is, all the problems come because the problem go out of 26. All these things are types. Everything, every treatment idea we have is conceivably a type. Okay? The question is it the archetype for them, or is it just partially that type? Okay? Does that answer the
So
question?
there's not going to be a dominant theme. Like they might have other things going on.
Yeah, they usually do. Most people will have, yeah, exactly. And most people will be more than one type. But there'll be one that's really strong, and that's the big deal here. And the rest is supporting. And that's why in the book, my estimation is it's sometimes hard to distinguish in the book that there was not enough differentiation between this is the main, this is the type, and this is the supporting things. These are other things that tend to happen with this type. Okay? And that's why something like liver 1 suddenly it appears like it treats cardiac. But no, it treats cardiac when people have liver issues and cardiac. Does that make sense? Yeah. All right. Anyone else? There's someone? No. Okay. Let's take you out.
I have a question.
So, yeah, one second. Daniel, one thing I want to recommend, I did do Kiiko 27 on her, I believe, and I would recommend. Yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I think last time I was here, you said that you should treat the one that the person reacts to most.
In terms of pressure pain?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, it's a combination of, so yes and no. In other words, because last time I think I did a more systematic presentation. I did, this thing about the 4 stages, 4 steps for diagnosis. Take the medical history, take the abdominal finding, prioritize your story, and then test. And within medical history, I said, give precedence to either certain conditions and to what comes first. That's your part of your prioritization. And as you prioritize the abdominal findings, which ones are really, they're reacting more strongly will tend to, but also certain findings are taking precedence. If they show adrenal, that takes precedence. Okay. So yeah, one of the things, so it's not like you have left spleen line is the strongest, therefore that is the strongest type. It's like in combination with, by the way, what you meant. So that's something that weighs a little more than if left spleen line was just, it's a little bit uncomfortable. Oh, wow. The oh, wow is going to put a little bit more weight in it, but it still doesn't necessarily take over, the medical history, it's part of your prioritization, but it's just part of it. There's other factors coming in. Does that make sense?
May I ask one real quick? What were the order of the 4 you just mentioned, the medical history for prioritizing?
Okay, so what I tell people is when in your diagnosis, what you do is, step 1 is you take the medical history. Step 2 is you take abdominal finding, including the neck, etc. Step 3, you prioritize your findings with the medical history. You correlate and prioritize, meaning I'm saying, okay, I think autoimmune is your most important thing. The 4th stage is you test your hypothesis, your prioritization. If the test, in other words, you're now trying to apply points that are supposed to treat, I've now typed her, I put her in a box, okay? And now I'm putting in the nails and I'm seeing if the box closes well or not, okay? So I'm testing points. If the points prove to me that, Avi, she really is this type, then my job is done. But very often, I'm testing my hypothesis, I prioritize, I told myself a story, she's autoimmune, she's this, she's chlorine, she's blah, blah, she's blah, blah. And then I'm testing my chlorine points or my autoimmune points or whatever it is. And the abdomen doesn't change, the symptom doesn't change. Okay? What I need to do is reprioritize. I go back to step 1 and 2 are almost fixed. I took the medical history, I took abdominal findings. If I have to, I would go back and say, are you sure you told me everything? You know, it's like I'm gonna, you know, try and pull more information out of her. The same thing, I may poke the abdomen again and see if I can find, or I'll check better the neck, or I'll check the back, I'll try and get more information. But assuming that I did a relatively okay job with steps 1 and 2, medical history and abdominal findings, the issue is, am I getting the right type? Am I typing her right or prioritizing her correctly? And therefore getting the right treatment points? And it's only the test when I check the treatment point and go, okay, how is this now? That's when I know if I'm right or wrong. If I'm not right, no problem. Reprioritize. So I keep looping between steps 3, prioritizing, and 4, testing. If I've looped around a few times, okay, I'm making it sound like it's a scientific project, right? You know, if I've gone through that iteration of, I've told myself like 5 different stories and not getting much, that's the time you go back to, you know what, I think something's missing in your medical history, or something's missing in my palpation. You know, then you start inquiring more into steps 1 and 2. But steps 1 and 2 you do up front, and you believe you've got most of it. And then, I've done that. Let me get rid of the needles before I do something really bad. So I have steps 1 and 2, and now the thing that I keep reiterating is the testing. If the test does not prove my I make up a story, literally make it up, okay? And I test the story. According to this story, this point should work. I test the point. She says, no good, I move it slightly. I say, oh, maybe not kidney 7, maybe kidney 9, maybe not that, you know. But at some point, I'm going to come, either I confirmed the story, or I didn't confirm the story. If I did not confirm the story, that story goes out the window, it no longer exists. I make up a whole new story. Now, there are times, and then that story needs to be tested. Either it proves itself correct or it proves itself incorrect. Okay? Now, there are a few times when that method is not going to be proven true. Okay? Which is, you told yourself a story, you tested it, and then the story was correct, but it had a missing part. Okay? So that will happen. That's why blood pressure issues take priority. If they have low blood pressure, I can tell them any story I want, and it's not going to fully work until I do blood pressure. Because if the chi and blood are not moving, how can I expect results? Okay. Same thing, for example, if I missed adrenal, or if I missed the fact they have autoimmune diabetes, I can tell I'm missing part of the story. That's more elementary. That's what I'm saying. As you're prioritizing, give greater importance to the following conditions. Diabetes, and use that protocol. Autoimmune, use that protocol. If they have adrenals, if SCM, they have autonomic nervous system or blood pressure, deal, and if they have thyroid, because if you don't treat these things and you decide in your story to like, I think I can ignore them, it will come back to haunt you. So once you see these things, treat it, or attempt to treat it. Because if you ignore it, your treatment is likely to fail. Make sense? Let's turn you over. So I'm going to put this under your belly, and we'll give you this for your forward. So according to dogma, okay, what we want to do on her is, lift you now. We want to do hypothyroid treatment, which is activating the DO channel, right? We want to, she had REN9 pulse, so continuation of REN9 pulse will be UB52. Okay, these are just the ideas that I have right now. There's the liver issue, so I want to do left UB35. So that's kind of like, that's how I'm walking into, okay, now we're faced with the back. Okay, so I'm basically took what I did in the front and I'm translating. Okay, and then let's see what we find, and there may be a reason to do something totally different.
So she has this hump around 214. Okay, I want to check if there's any pain. 1, 2, 3.
1
1.
is more than 2 and 3, but pain and all.
But
pain and all.
pain in all. Okay, 1, 2, and 3, but 1 is the most. Okay. How about 1, 2, 3 on this side?
That said, there's pain and all, but it seems to be all 3 are the same.
Oh, okay. Okay. Anything?
That's all feels so good.
Feels so good. Okay. Boom, 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 boom. Here, right?
And that's no pain in any of that, but it feels so good. But
Okay, feels
not as good
so
as the first.
She doesn't really want to say it because she knows I'll take it away. This side. 1, 2, 3, 4.
And that's nothing.
Nothing. 1. Doesn't even feel good. 3, 4.
And those 3,
Those last 3
Had
feel
pain.
good? Have pain?
a little bit of pain, but
Okay, okay. So liver. 1, 2, 3. Yeah?
no, now nothing.
Okay. All right. 1, 2, 3, 4.
No pain.
1, 2, 3. Yeah. Okay. So how about liver area? Nothing here?
Not really.
Okay.
That one was ticklish,
This one's ticklish?
and I'm not a ticklish person.
But you said it's ticklish?
Yeah, it feels like I'm gonna,
Feels like you're gonna want to scratch.
like how your muscles jerk away.
Okay, gotcha. How's now?
Better.
Okay. So even though she doesn't, they can't, she says ticklish or something, but that it's still on the liver area. So I'm assuming that it's related to the liver.
And the point that you're touching, you're right on the money.
I'm right on the money?
Because it hurts.
Oh, yeah, unfortunately, that does not mean I'm right on the money. It just happens to hurt. Okay, so let me see if I can fix it. This hurts?
Yes.
Okay, let's see. Okay, hold on one second. And you had 1, 2, 3, correct?
Yes.
Okay. By the way, anything here? Oh, okay.
Ticklish too.
Oh, ticklish.
Weird.
Okay. How's now?
Feels the same.
Okay. How's 1, 2, 3?
1 and 2 are slightly better. 3 still hurts.
1 and 2 slightly better. Okay, hold on. Let me find a better point, maybe.
3 still hurts.
Okay. No?
No.
Okay, so it's not going to do it. Okay, hold on. But now, this is the one that hurts also, right?
Although it's less painful now.
Okay, hold on. And how about now?
Not. It's moved into the feel so good.
Okay, so at least it got changed. Feel so good?
Yes.
Okay. All right, so 1, 2, 3. How are they doing?
Weirdly, now 1 hurts a little more than 3.
1 hurts more. Okay, that's good. Don't compare. Compare each one to how it was before.
So before 1 wasn't hurting and now it is.
Okay, and 2 and 3 are okay now?
And 2 and 3 are okay now.
Okay, so we still have 1. Fair enough. How about this side? 1, 2, 3.
Those are more, this hurts so good.
Okay, fair enough. So 1. Oh,
That hurts.
okay. So we'll leave that alone for a second. How is 1?
And 1's better.
1 is better. Don't forget she's autoimmune, so I need to do sacroiliac, lung and kidney. How's this now?
It's better.
Okay. Remember, T11, T12, and T5 can fix all sorts of things in the back. Totally, you can't relate it to any reason. It's just because it's the change in the curve of the back. So we're currently on, we did liver UB35 and we're currently in due to T11, T12, T7, and T5 for thyroid. And then I'll add the lung and kidney.
T11, T12?
Yeah. At least I think it is. Can't guarantee. So notice on the Watos, I try, the T11, T12, I definitely try and get an upward movement there. The other ones I can do either 45 degrees in or 45 degrees in and up as well. I'm not that concerned. But this one I definitely want to get a certain up. Now, Kiiko will literally needle it, not even towards the spine, but more like that. But she would tend to be closer to the spine as well. Okay, so hypothyroid treatment done. Let's check. How's number 1 now?
It still has pain, but is better.
Okay. How is this one?
Oh, much better.
Okay, so I can now do UB52, which is both for the Ren-night pulse and for autoimmune. Okay, but before I do that, I need to do sacroiliac, right? UB27. Okay, so you said that there's still some here, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so how's now?
Oh, better.
Okay. Now, the weird thing about something like Hashimoto's is that she's 2 categories that are really the same. She's both thyroid and she's autoimmune. Mm-hmm. In the front, you don't see that it's 2 because autoimmune involves kidney and thyroid involves kidney. On the back, it almost looks like it's 2 separate treatments. Okay, but they're not but they're really not because it's still the same thing. It's Hashimoto's. It's one entity. Okay?
That still hurts.
That's still, oh shoot. We got rid of it. But this side's okay?
Yeah.
Okay, let's start with this side. Let's see where we go. How's now? Hmm?
It's, can you touch it again? It hurts, but it's not that sudden stabbing.
Okay, hold on.
And that hurts.
That's okay. How is the bottom here?
Better.
Okay. Still better?
Yeah.
Okay, good. So, see, it's not like this point resolves this point by protocol. It's just if they have a correlation, it's just a convenient way to find points to a large extent. Then you don't have to argue, oh, the point is here, the point is there. It's not, the point is where it works.
You have the Kiiko 42.
Sorry?
You have that 42.
Yeah. So lung and kidney plus UB27 is the autoimmune part. The spine is the thyroid part, and UB35 for the liver. So we have either 2 ideas if you merge thyroid and autoimmune together. So liver is kind of a second idea. Or you can say you have 3 ideas, but I'm still within 3 ideas. I'm okay. No, it's important because if I start I'm chasing after this one and this one, this one, this one, it's like the patient may get better, but they may not, and then I have nowhere to go because I know I've lost control over, I don't have a good analysis of what's going on. That's the part that I don't like about having too many ideas. So it's not like it's the end of the world. So, 3 more needles, whatever, 10 more needles, and they're not going to die from a few more needles. But my chances of actually getting it are kind of diminished by having done
left UB35 and the right. So if the liver area, like right T7 to 9 area, right, the bladder 35 releases that area.
Yes.
So do you not do bladder 35 if there's no findings on right T7 to T9?
If there was a
like
clear
an
liver
open
type,
or liver?
yeah, if they're clearly, it all depends. Okay. If they're not showing anything on the liver side, on the back, but I'm convinced that they're a liver type and it was really important, screw it. And what's more, I'll use UB35 against symptoms on the left side of unrelated days. Whatever I can, I'll justify UB35 through anything.
So that's just an ask, so if you have bilateral T7 through T9, like on both sides.
Should you use the right?
Oh, you still go through left bladder 35, the right
I'll
position,
start
that's
with
where
the
the whatever, there's a blood vessel there.
This is the rectal vein, therefore should resolve, for the liver. But if it's okay, if you have T7 both sides, there's a good chance that it's autonomic nervous system, and I start looking into it too. Yeah, but if they have T7 both sides and in the front they clearly were liver, then I'm going to do UB35, then see how much of the T7 I got resolved on both sides. If I still have some, I might go for DO2 because it's remember, T7 is autonomic nervous system shit. Okay? So it's kind of, you have to take everything in one consideration as opposed to, like many things into consideration as opposed to just one thing. Make sense? Any other questions? Let's talk about the back, in which case. All right. So, in the back, basically, the upper thoracics will tend to show in people with autonomic nervous system issues and or Shem disturbance will tend to show stuff in the upper thoracics. With some particularities for certain vertebrae, so T5, T5 obviously relates to everything because it's part of the curves, but it's especially, I'm using it for neck. Any neck problem, I'm going to look for T4, T5, as well as for eyes, T4. I'm going to look. T7, okay, is we call autonomic nervous system shift. So there's a place that's usually a little lateral and a little bit above UB17. That when you press on it, you're going to feel like you're splitting the muscle, like you're separating the muscle. That's what we would call autonomic nervous system issue. But that whole line relates to the autonomic nervous system of T7 because it's the line of the diaphragm. And those of you who studied with me before, I always talk about, there's a point called do shoot UB16. And what does this do? You've never seen anybody use UB16 to treat the do channel. So this do has something to do with something that's nothing to do with the channel. And the character to supervise the do is like an eye overseeing the picking of the beans. Okay? So it means, if you are the owner of the land, you're not supervising the people picking up the beans. You hire somebody else to do it for you. That's the supervisor. That's different than the owner. Okay? The emperor and the governor are two different qualities. Okay? The governor works for the emperor. The emperor does not work for anybody. The emperor gets the mandate from heaven, according to the Chinese. Okay? So in the body, okay, if we're translating, we're going to translate what is the do in modern terms. I'm not saying there is a one-to-one correlation exactly. We're going to arrive at either the autonomic nervous, the nervous system in general. It's supervising, it looks like, hey, I'm really important. But at the end of the day, the nervous system is owned by or is reporting to the brain. And the same thing applies to the hormonal system. Okay? The hormonal system looks like it's incredibly powerful, it does all this stuff, but at the end of the day, it's under the control of the pituitary, in the brain. So, there's an emperor out here, and then you have the autonomic nervous system and the hormonal system. So,
the do shu may refer, especially since it seems to clinically also prove to be that way, which is at level of T6, seems to have something to do with the nervous system. So that means disorders like insomnia, but also asthma. Asthma is a spasm, so it involves the nerves. It's a spasm of the bronchs. So that's what we use autonomic nervous system shu for. Then T6 to T8 relate to the pancreas. I know that in TCM they only say T8, but in our experience it's T6, T7, T8. T9 is liver. T10 is people with gallbladder will show on the right side, and that will be Watto, it will not be on the UB line. Watto of T10 and Watto of T2 on the right, and small intestine 11 on the right. That's typical gallbladder presentation.
Small intestine 11.
Small intestine 11, middle of the scapula. Then we have T11, T12, which are our sugar points. L1 relates to the inguinal. Okay? The nerves to the inguinal come from L1. So if you have inguinal pain, you may want to needle L1. L2 is Mingman, so it can relate to ears. Also to survival issues.
What?
Survival issues. People who've survived trauma or survived, they went to the hospital and almost died or were in a fire or something. They may show under 2.
What was the first thing you said for L3?
Sorry? Ears, because it's kidney, it's Mingman. Okay. L3 relates to the hip. Okay. Then you have L4 and L5, which relate to the legs, and also L5 specific, more so to all the gynecology, all the lower jiao stuff have to do with L5. And to release those, we use, to release the whole spine, we can use sacroiliac, which she has as right now named as U27 for her, but it's really sacroiliac. But specifically for L5 and L4, we use sacroiliac, and specifically for L4, L5, we use spleen 9. Okay. And then you have the sacrum. So you have your sacroiliac ligaments, which are basically good for everything. Literally. Why? Because it releases the whole spine, and it releases the parasympathetic plexus that lies at this point under, underneath her sacrum. There's the parasympathetic plexus. So you want to motivate it. Okay. Other points on the back that we use a fair amount. Underneath small intestine 12, so it's under the scapular spine. Okay? And moving upwards, we use for lung infections or lymph node issues. Okay? We use small intestine 9-10 for autonomic nervous system. We use Yao Yang, the lumbar eye, for 2 things. Number 1, to release the rhabdoids for lung issues. Number 2 is blood supply to the leg. And number 3, for constipation. If we use it for constipation, we needle straight in, 90 degrees. But otherwise, we needle towards the leg. What else? I use UB52 a fair amount on the back, because if they have renin pulse, the continuation of that, it's a continuation of adrenal, would be UB52 on the back, if you want to look at it that way. UB49, outside the spleen shoe, I use mostly for overthinking, maybe depression, things like that. And strangely enough, it gets needled upwards. And that's very interesting. You haven't moved in UB49. Cute. So it gets needled upwards, which is granted against the channel, but the thing is, because most people here are going to fall down. Okay? And you want to give them the feeling of moving up. Okay, you want to raise the spleen rather than give it more sinking. And then in the sacrum you have UB32 is women's point. UB33 is men's point, and UB34 is testosterone. So if they're weak, men who feel like they're fatigued and stuff, that UB34 may be a worthwhile point. Okay. We did the neck yesterday, the back of the neck, the cervical. Okay. So we basically kind of covered the whole body. Yes.
Are you going to have that
The what?
Wong.
Oh, Wong, okay. Yeah, because the question was, say someone has autoimmune. The student's question was, somebody has autoimmune disorder in the family. They don't have an autoimmune disorder, but they have some weird symptoms. Would I assume it's an autoimmune disorder? The answer is yes. Okay. But then besides doing autoimmune, meaning I'm going to try, because just to do it, it doesn't do anything, like clearly doesn't change anything in the abdomen. I'm just forcing it, so that's it. But we also have this character, and I spelled Wang wrong. First of all, because I believe it's reversed. There's the character Huang is in the body and dead or buried. This is Wang with a W. This is together, it's Wang. So this is what you learned as the area between the heart and the pericardium. I don't know, whatever they say, something.
You see like the area between the organs.
I've seen the area of the chest between the heart and the pericardium or something, but that's not true. I mean, I don't know if it's not true. It's not what the character says. The character, this is that, kind of modified, which means it's like a piece of flesh hanging. It basically means in the flesh. That's what this means. This is row. Okay? In the flesh. So in the flesh, something that died or is buried or is missing, it's gone. Okay? For example, the character busy, to be busy, is this character with a heart underneath. Sorry, my writing is horrible. Okay? So when the heart is missing, the heart, that's busyness. It's dead. It's like, that's kind of this idea. So what's missing, what is missing, what is dead, what is being buried, and yet is an organ in your body that has shu points, by the way. You have kidney 16, Wang Shu, Gao Wang Shu. It has a uterus, it has reproduction to it. It's a Bao Wang, the Wang with the uterus. It has a possibility of reproduction on top of, not only is it dead, it's in your body and it has the possibility of reproduction. It's a very interesting idea. Okay, when you look at how they named these points, and there's one more outside the Sanjiao. Okay, so which I can't remember what the name of it is. There's 4 Wangs in the body. There's Gao, whatever UB51 is, it's a Wang point. Let's look at that.
So what are they referring to?
The internet is so good. Okay, so what are they referring to? So if it's missing and it's in your body, okay, so think about what is missing that is dead inside your body. Not a very pleasant thought, apparently, Tara. Okay. Your ancestors, they're dead. But they're clearly in your body. You don't exist without your ancestors. So your genetic code or your inheritance in terms of health could be, maybe that's what Huang is. Something in your body.
I thought it was maybe referring to whatever I forget which plant it is like super productive when you're like a baby and then it like...
Thymus?
Yeah, thymus. That's what I...
Oh, interesting.
It's like doesn't exist.
Yeah. It's in your body, but it's
our cells that it created are dead.
Yeah. That's a cool idea. It'll be interesting to see if one points out anything to do with thymus. Yeah. Did you find out what she meant?
Wang men.
Wang men. Okay. Yes. Okay. So these Wang points seem to have an effect. So if Wang has something to do with your ancestors, something in the body that's dead and still influences your body, means it has a door, it has a vein, It has a uterus. It has a shoe. Okay, it seems to have everything. Okay, I mean, that's your genetic code. Okay, or that's your, inherited diseases. So if someone comes in and they have autoimmune disorders in the family, okay, and they have a weird thing, yes, you can try and treat them for autoimmune, but also see if the wrong points, meaning UB43, UB53, UB51, KB16, if they're going to have any effect on them. Okay, because maybe their condition is an inherited condition. Make sense?
And does that go for just family history of autoimmune or family history of anything that's not showing that?
Yeah, anything. In other words, if you think that their health issue is a transmitted disease, is an inherited disease, then you can start looking at is one going to do a good job. The big one out of all these is Gao Wang Shu, in terms of ancestry. When you're looking at, okay, it's what transmitted from the ancestors. Okay? So it's just another thought pattern that you can take.
Which one is going?
UB43, sorry. All right, so let's take your needles out. All right, let's have you sit up. Spacey, yeah, take a moment. Yeah, most people tend to do front treatments only. This style, I tend to do, we tend to do both sides.
Sometimes they have to sit up.
Oh, sitting up. It's much more fun to do it like that for the patient. But they also put the needles in and out very quickly, so they don't leave the needles in, right?
Not long.
Yeah.
But sometimes in and out, and sometimes for 2 months.
All right, so unfortunately we can't test your symptoms right now. You have specific pain, so you'll let us. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Shall we take a few minutes break?